The term spiritual experience is thrown around a lot these days in our modern, technologically advanced, rapidly moving society. What is a spiritual experience for some is not necessarily the same for everyone else. What is a spiritual experience exactly? Oftentimes, we don't know one when we see it. When we hear it, we're not even sure it will happen, but it does, and it will happen to you. I decided to reserve an intimate whale-watching excursion, not knowing that the experience would be one of those life-altering moments that would forever change the way that I view the world and think about my own life. I even remember thinking to myself, what is an intimate whale-watching tour anyway? What does that mean exactly? Intimate whale-watching? I had no idea, but it sounded fun and different. On the way out to look for whales in our Zodiac boat, I listened to the description of whale migration given by our federally licensed guide, who also mentioned that we would drop hydrophones into the water, listen to the whales singing, and possibly, ever so gently, get almost close enough to touch. I thought to myself, now that would be something. So, about 30 minutes out, we spotted a pod of 3 humpback whales off on the horizon line. Cautiously approaching them, our captain told us, "Now, watch for the footprints in the ocean," meaning that when the whales surface to take a breath, as they dive down and extend their tail out of the water, it leaves what's called a footprint. We saw them, and that was only the beginning. The hydrophones were then dropped into the water. A switch was flipped on the radio, and we heard the low humming noise with high chirps in between that created a musical melody that can only be described as heavenly. Almost immediately, I felt a calm around me while hearing the humpback whale's song and witnessing them spout out fountains of water, go below the surface, dive down, blending into the deep blue vastness below. The captain pointed, telling us to look over our right shoulders, and with an exclamation he shouted, "1 o'clock!" Like a hesitant, playful 2-year-old child, yet weighing around 40 tons and 40 feet in length. The male humpback whale ever so slowly returned to the surface, as if he was observing us and not the other way around. He went from one side of our Zodiac to the other, swimming underneath our boat as he investigated his encounter. The whale seemingly peeked at us through one eye, and then, just then, did he poke his head above the water to take a good, hard, long look at us. It was like we were able to communicate with him by waving our hands and with our laughter. Even more intrigued, the whale put his nose back up, piercing the surface of the water, and gave me the gift of a lifetime. He paused, then waited, and I patted him on the head, if ever so briefly. As the other 2 humpback whales waited in the nearby distance, continuing with their singing, our curious whale connected with me in an inexplicable way. Just the right beams of light from the sun reflected my own shadow on the left side of his large body, remaining there as if we were one species, one with the world we both live in, one with all of our natural wonders. And now I understand precisely what an intimate whale-watching tour is at Cabo Expeditions. Now I know what it means to have a spiritual experience. And now I know what it feels like to be touched, and have touched something magical, even heavenly.